Hi guys, this is my review for Suicide Squad. I've seen the movie twice, and personally, this movie is like a David Ayer movie to me. The story was very poorly written, not really written well. It was good, but it was poorly written in a way. It was very fun to watch. The movie was very fun to watch. The action scenes were decent. The story of the film was kind of just. It started off and it just swooped down. It was like a roller coaster. It just went when it progressed on in the film. But the action scenes were pretty good in this movie, but it felt like a David Ayer film. And these are the reasons why I have to say it felt like a David Ayer film. For one thing, David Ayer has an obsession with tattoos, and he has an obsession with drug lords, pimps, and the Mexican cartel. If you've seen previous films of his, like Sabotage, The End of Watch, the only movie that he hasn't done that felt like this was Fury. And, well, he can't do it for Fury. But Suicide Squad felt like one of his typical obsessed gangster Mexican cartel movies in it. Will Smith as Deadshot. Will Smith, he felt like Will Smith in certain scenes, but he also had that feeling that Deadshot was coming out of the comics and on the big screen, and you can enjoy it. Jai Courtney, I'm not a big fan of Jai Courtney's acting ability. The only other film I have ever enjoyed Jai Courtney in was Terminator Genisys, and that's probably because you didn't really see much of him on the screen in it. Well, you got to see enough of them that you wanted to see in Terminator Genisys. But this movie, Jai Courtney felt like he actually studied his character, actually picked up a comic book and read it to study Captain Boomerang. Because Captain Boomerang felt like it came out of the comics and it was just slapped on the big screen for me. There's a little tweaks and stuff in there that wasn't kind of comic book accurate. Like in the comic books, he's just a swinging boomerang fanatic. But on this movie, he was kind of a pirate, and I really want to see Jai Courtney's Captain Boomerang in the Flash solo movie, alongside with the villain Mirror Master. That would be pretty fantastic for the Flash solo movie that Warner Brothers and DC is planning. Margaret Robbie's Harley Quinn is just fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about her Harley Quinn. It was perfect. Perfect. I loved her as Harley Quinn. I want to see her in maybe the Batman solo movie alongside with Deadshot and maybe a better version of the Joker compared to what David Ayer gave us of the Joker. Like I said, the story was kind of decent, but it was poorly written because it started off decent, I have to say, and it just swooped down while it was going on for me. The villain in this movie was poorly. I hated the villain in this movie. Enchantress was pretty good, but why did you have to put a brother in there? Why couldn't you give Enchantress the true Enchantress that we deserve on the screen, like this evil domestic witch? But no, you had to put some stupid brother in this film. And what is with DC's movies always are surrounding around destroying cities and destroying the world? I have no idea what that is. Why can't it just be about, like, destroying the government? Or destroying the army that they have. So it has to bring Batman out of the shadows. Has to bring the Flash out of the lightning. Has to bring Superman out of the sky. No, you guys always surround your films around destroying cities, having mayhem in cities. Oh, let's do this. We'll just destroy the world this time. Fans will love it. No. If you're a true comic book fan, we will not love this. We want a good, decent story which it starts on the even line and progresses up. Not starts high and progresses down like a fucking roller coaster's hill. That's how your movies are developing these days. But the villain in this movie was pretty weak. I swear the new Ghostbusters movie with Melissa McCarthy in it, their villain, Rowan, was way better written than this villain in Suicide Squad. But all in all, I don't like how you had other characters like El Diablo just sitting in the sideline, Killer Croc sitting in the sideline, Rick Flag sitting in the sideline. Why couldn't you have them all facing in? And what was the dialogue for Killer Croc? In the comic books, he says a lot more shit compared to "I'm beautiful." Yeah, I like her. No, and growls here and there. Um, but yeah, El Diablo, when he finally gets his scene in the movie, fantastic. El Diablo was fantastic when he finally got a scene. Killer Croc, I waited so long for a scene for him, but you kept him in the background as a shadow. Piece of shit character in this film. But I'm gonna blame David Ayer for that, because David Ayer is not a good director. Period. He's not a good director, and I saw he wrote the story for the movie, and I can see why I feel like this was a fucked up David Ayer film with his obsession of Mexican cartel and fucking drug lords and pimps. Now, the biggest turnoff on this film that made me really upset, I really wanted to cry, was the Joker. This was not the Joker. I'm not even going to consider this a Joker in this movie. I really hope Ben Affleck will pump up the Joker, maybe fix him from what David Ayer did. David Ayer took that character from the comic books and literally stomped on his head until it exploded and told DC, fuck you, if you don't want my version of the Joker, then fuck you. You know what DC should have said? Take your balls and take them somewhere else. Because this Joker was a fucking Mexican cartel pimp. It was not the Joker at all. There was like maybe 3 scenes I felt like, oh my god, there's the Joker. The rest of the scenes have the Joker in it, it felt like a pimp. Or it felt like a fucked up crackhead coming down. Or it felt like a fucking Mexican cartel. I don't even get the tattoos. You could have had like maybe a few tattoos on him. I can understand the damage tattoo if you had a backstory on it, and it showed in the film why he has damage written on his forehead. But I can understand the Robin with the arrow through it. Death to the Robin. The ha-ha-ha's I can understand if you showed a scene where Harley Quinn was actually doodling on the Joker while he was ill with something and couldn't do much. But other than that, I can't see anybody doodling on the Joker for tattoos, because the Joker would just shoot them in the head or bitch slap them, tell him to fuck off, because that's the Joker for you. He would not let somebody tattoo him like this. The teeth, I can understand. But yeah, that's how I felt about the Joker. It was shit. My rating on the film, I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 10. So this movie should have been a step forward for DC, kind of a step back behind Batman v Superman, in my opinion. And David Ayer should just be kept away from comic book movies and told, take your obsession somewhere else with these Mexican cartel and pimps and shit. Make your own crappy films. Stay away from comic book films. But yeah, that's my rating on this movie, Suicide Squad. I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 10. And if you don't like this film, I'd like to hear all your guys' comments below.